Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful market force out there right now. Got some exciting things to go over. And at the end, the SEC regulations around Gary Gensler being basically one of the leaders of the mafia. So I'll look forward to that part of the conversation. But with this in mind, let's just go ahead and dive into kind of a fun chart. Full screen, ladies and gentlemen. On the bottom in pink, gold, right? CFDs on gold basically follows the price action, more or less. Could make some arguments about that. On the top in white, Bitcoin on a much shorter time frame. I think one of the interesting aspects about retrospective studies, first off, timing is almost irrelevant. So I want to get back to this, but I also wanted to go through it through a different step. Here's Glasswalker's updated chart in the bear family. I'm not sure, Glasswalker, I know you're out there listening. I don't know why it is you're not using our custom built accumulation schematics. We're going to have to fix that there, get rid of these stock charts nonsense. We have our own, ladies and gentlemen, but this is one of the things I wanted to actually go back and over. This is one of my favorite quotes. It says, this is by Jesse Livermore, by the way. It says, don't take action with a trade until the market itself confirms your opinion. Being a little late in the trade is insurance that your opinion is correct. In other words, don't be an impatient trader. Now, not really a trader. I've kind of gone over this a few times. I'm much more an investor. Although every now and then, like I said, I do like to get in there. It's almost like, can feel like gambling, especially if you're playing with leverage. But I like venture capital. I like asymmetry in markets, and I like volatility through time. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, you could just accumulate every day. Now, what I like about this also as well is this kind of fractal nature of the way the universe gives us data. And I love how similar both gold and Bitcoin look at this point. Now, again, that would put us up at around $90,000 Bitcoin pretty easily, which would follow right below the stock to flow model. And I do suspect we will get higher than that, although these bigger interests that are now in the markets will also likely leave us with a bit less volatility than we saw in the past. This is also one of the reasons why we're so excited about the rest of the market. Now, on a shorter time frame here for the 6 hour for Bitcoin, everything is looking good. So let's just make a subtle comparison here. Again, shout out to both the quote and Glasswalker's chart here. It does look like we are in the SOS in the backup phase. Very, very nice to see. And we actually see a lot of that in the turn of the rest of the markets. If we very quickly just scroll through, take a look at Serum. Outside of that falling wedge, back right up to the bottom of the trading range, 100% in the last week. Mercurial's not moved quickly. Solrise has done well. 1 inch is starting to peak outside of its falling wedge, it appears as well. Same with Solana. Avalanche doing the same thing. And Ethereum in this very beautiful, what appears to be a reaccumulation after decline. I think what's so fun about this is that we're not trying to be right, because we already know that we are. When we play this game through time, all asset prices have gone up because they're always inflating the US currency or any currency of the country that you happen to be living in. They're inflating that. We have given our governments the ability, to some degree or another, have control of where the money gets spent and how. It is just a breeding ground for corruption and collusion, and it's probably one of the most disgusting aspects about human civilization, and it's why the crypto sector is so amazing. It gets rid of middlemen. I'll save this part for a little bit later, but the SEC and Gary Gensler are nothing but mafioso. They're not there to protect you from buying unregulated securities. They're there to make sure that they get their fucking cut. That is it. Let me say it again. They are there only to make sure they get their cut. They're basically the mafia. So, because we know that the mafia is just printing currency, yay, and giving it away to everybody. They're giving it to failing businesses. Oh, hey, the banks, you're a failure. You don't have a business model that works. We're going to bail you out, and we're going to bail you out with U.S. taxpayer money. They are doing the same thing around the world. They have taken a game plan, a blueprint. They have formulated it, and they're just run amok through most of the governments. And one of the most satisfying things about technology is that it can replace things that are no longer useful to us. The government and the regulators are things that are basically no longer useful to us because they're only corrupt. If we had a better system. Anyways, I'm not a political person, but I'm interested in the way our markets move. And markets are based off the sentiment of human investment into the society that they live in, and they happen to live in societies which are still largely run by politics. So even though I don't like it, once in a while you have to dip into it to understand that it's a pretty pertinent aspect of the, let's say, the modernity of the average individual. Now, I'm assuming that most of you that are watching this channel are probably not the average individual. I mean, if you like what I have to say, I would very highly doubt that you are an average person. So with that in mind, hats off to you. Being weird is fun. Okay, back to the charts. That was a little bit of a rant, excuse me there. So it does appear that we are in the backup phase. I do agree with this chart. Again, one of the fun things about this, again, we did see Haley produce the nice reaccumulation, the spring, beautiful. Again, we can get things wrong, but fundamentally, if you're following the thesis, the main goal is to always accumulate. I've said that. Even if we came down lower, it's just a huge buy opportunity, nothing else. It's not, oh my God, it's going to drop down, I should sell what I have, and I should buy back later. No, motherfucker, you should just keep buying shit. If you don't have enough money to buy stuff, go to work. If you don't have a job, make a job by doing something useful for other people, right? Okay, hey, this is what we've been doing for thousands of years, right? Before there was a US dollar, probably before we even used gold, we used coconut shells and cacao seeds and all sorts of random shit. I got so close to not swearing in that episode. I tried though. So I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin and the entire sector because what we need to do is get rid of the middlemen. Gary Gensler is a middleman for a bunch of lawyers who want to take money away from people. Now, are there scams out there? Yes. There's a lot of scams. In everything that you will do in life, there's someone probably trying to screw you over. It sucks. There's like a small group of people that manage to be able to manipulate control into the many quite often. We've seen it happen in tyrannical governments around the world. Over and over and again, these mistakes get made, and this technology gives us the opportunity to solve those problems if we bring them to the plate properly. So very exciting stuff. Does look like we're in the backup phase. Across the board here too, Ethereum looks like a beautiful reaccumulation channel. So as we had gone over before, I suspect this bull market will continue, probably somewhere to around $130,000. And then we'll probably have some quiet time for a year or two, which will feel so nice. Oh my God, not market volatility all the time, like volatility within a range. So like it's much easier to manage. Okay, so Ethereum looks good, Bitcoin looks good, Avalanche looks good, Solana. Everything this last week moved into a bullish sentiment. And with Solana, again, we're closing above the point of control here. This is fantastic. Why would you not want to be excited about that? All this time, if you were following the thesis, you should be buying and accumulating. Great. Job well done. I congratulate you. And now we're up. Well, what's the end point? Well, I think more importantly than how much money you make is what the hell are you doing with your life? That's why I always kind of revert back to the work that you're doing. I love this stuff. I love venture capital. I think it's fascinating. That's why we like ideas like Soulrise and why we very much so dislike people like Gary Gensler when they say stupid shit that says, hey, we're the mafia. As long as you can afford to pay us off, you do whatever you want to. You want to sell unregulated licensed securities? Well, just make sure you pay us and we're happy. I mean, look at EOS. EOS raised $1 billion. Well, look, as long as EOS and Block 1 could afford the $40 million fine, the SEC did not do shit. They're not regulators. They're mafia who want their cut. That's my opinion. Anyways, I was going to save that till the end, but I guess we kind of got caught up in it now. So ideas like Soulrise, One Inch, Solana, Avalanche, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of these represent what I believe to be one of the purest opportunities and potential, which is the participation of decentralized global finance. And we are still in those early days. Do not forget that. No matter what the price is doing, try to understand the depth of the value of why someone like me, and probably you, at least we've gone over that in the beginning, who's kind of weird and maybe not so totally normal, would like something like this. It's not so simple to understand the importance of just the concept of decentralization, or why a distributed system, or not just one, but in fact, many distributed systems is a much better option. And it extends past technology as a concept. It is brilliant. And I hope that as a society, we continue to pursue that. Okay, anyways, awesome, right? Every chart we've looked at looks good. Even Cardano here, holding above the point of control nicely. We are above most of its downward trend line too, which is nice to see. So just holding tough here. For the next little bit. It did get a little worrying last week though, especially because if the market fell out of Bitcoin, it could have rocked us quite a bit lower. So we'll get some more volatility to the upside. probably for the next few months, I would imagine. And then I'm looking forward to it getting boring again, because when it's boring, this is where we're making all of our entries. Way back here. Not up in this choppy stuff way at the top. Way back here when the price of Matic is under a penny. This is where we are making our entries. This is where things were basically boring for most people. And that's what I'm looking forward to in the future, when we get rid of all the hype and madness and we resolve back to our regular accumulation bear standards. Okay, finalize today's episode. We're going to do two things. We're going to look at the VIX to start. Everything looks good. Obviously, conversations around lockdown, vaccines, and Delta variants, and basically people that know nothing about science are arguing about things they know nothing about. So the volatility is still super high. We're banning free speech of people who deserve to be able to speak. Dropped like 30% of the fucking YouTube internet just disappeared over the last year or two, and nobody seems to care. So the volatility is still very high. I feel quite volatile because of all that. So as per normal, we're still higher than we were at our most peak out moments to some degree in the previous few years. DXY showing a little bit of strength today. Interesting. Bitcoin up, dollar up. Nothing to really go over other than that. The S&P 500, new highs again just yesterday almost, the day before, what is that, Monday? Yes, Monday morning. Again, we've hit new highs pretty consistently. I don't see why they're going to stop printing money unless for some reason something crazy happens in the VIX. And again, you can't foresee the future, like, oh my God, there's a solar flare, it's coming, it's destroying, all this positively charged particles in the flying through space hits our magnetosphere and sends all these electric shock waves into our electrical grid and just fries half of the planet and it goes offline. The volatility would spike and the price of everything would drop pretty dramatically. Although I'm not sure if it would even be online. Who knows? Maybe it was all offline and you couldn't even sell your stocks in the S&P 500 because we destroyed it with a solar flare. Those things can happen. We don't try to measure them in, but do understand that they can happen. So optionality is a great thing to understand. Okay, the S&P 500, that's where we were. And then now the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq, not new highs, but still well above the trading range. And we're in that really interesting kind of, what do you call it, limbo area of phase C, where it can turn into a distribution or a reaccumulation pattern within an instant. And this is why the trading range itself is really important to pay attention to. And I think what was one of the great things about the Glasswalker chart and the Haley chart is that effectively this is always great news. No matter which direction Bitcoin is going, it should be great news if you understand this thesis. Okay. I wanted to go over one more thing here, which is going to be Mr. Gary Gensler. This schmerperderpfer. Okay, Biden's SEC chair pick. First off, I don't like politics. These guys do make a difference in our market. And again, I believe they are nothing but mafia criminals who just want their cut. So understand that. Gary Gensler, President Joe Biden's picked the lead Securities Exchange Commission has revealed his policies on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies if he's confirmed. Wait, this is an old article that I grabbed here? No, August 4th, 2021. Okay. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have brought new thinking to payments and financial inclusion, but they've also raised new issues of investor protection, and we still need to attend to. Yeah, well, the problem is you don't actually do jack shit for investor protection. You just make sure you're getting your cut. So why don't you stop fucking lying and just go get a job that actually helps people? Because you're not doing it, right? When the SEC tried to take Ripple to court and then all the price drops and people got scared and they didn't know what to do and they sold. Well, how is the SEC not at fault for manipulating the fucking markets the same? Like, what are you talking about? You're doing the same criminal thing you're trying to charge other people for. Like, shut up. We need to get rid of these people. They're clearly in the way. They have done nothing to protect the consumer. As a matter of fact, what they should be doing is creating vast amounts of resources on YouTube to help educate people about what a scam might actually look like instead of retroactively suing people. I feel like that moment where like Cabby, that guy who does those TikTok videos, like, education. Anyways, So I think it's confirmed the SEC had worked with fellow commissioners to promote new innovations. There's one other thing he said here. It was about how all ICOs were securities. It's like, well, we've moved into a whole new range around the conversation in terms of what I think anytime someone's buying something, it's not just because they think the value is going to increase, it's because they think it's going to increase the value of their life. You could make arguments around that premise at the basic level because the Howey test is so fucking out of touch with our current digital age. And not just that, our current digital native global age. Why are we still listening to the SEC? We on this, there's only 258 people right now. You should all give us a thumbs up. Every single one of you, that's right. Do it now. Go and like the video. We're a global community. Why are we listening to regulators in such a small area who, again, do nothing in terms of educating? Because what you should do is not sue the company who made the hot coffee to put a label saying the coffee was hot. You should actually be creating documentation that help educate people who seem to not know that coffee is hot. Don't do stupid shit while playing with coffee in your hands. Like, they're retroactive, right? Their whole entire idea of regulation is a retrospective fix for things that had gone wrong before they gone wrong, when what they should be doing is actually working to educate instead of regulate. Anyways, thank you all for joining us in today's episode. That was my rant about the criminals at the SEC. SEC, hashtag mafia, yes. Greatest new merchandise. I love it. Yeah, like the Godfather, Gary Gensler, like all the Godfather fucking images. Ha! Ha! Okay. What's happening is effing believable, unbelievable, agree. Gotta accumulate so I can build that bunker. Sometimes some people have already built a bunker for you. Time for flute. The flute is at the other home here in Costa Rica. I will be headed back there in a few days for a quick visit, but I'm currently in the city home. Let's see, next questions. Shady antics around AMC and GME show how much they protect their investors. And not just that, it shows how little they understand about the things that they're trying to talk about. Like when the CEO of Nasdaq says, well, we think it's market manipulation that they were using Reddit. It's like, motherfucking stupid bitches. This is the exact same thing big hedge funds do all the goddamn time. You ignorant, like I can't even say these words without getting kicked off YouTube. What are you talking about? How did you end up the CEO and not know what the fucking company does? If you have enough money, you can manipulate the prices. Yay! 101 speculation, you idiot. Like, how ridiculous was that? That whole GameStop thing upset me wildly. Anyways, excuse me. I'm on like fire today. Sometimes that happens. E3 says, finally, someone who gets it. All these other YouTubers are saying we need regulations. Yeah, I highly disagree. Anyone that says that, I disagree with 100%. Putting a regulation around like not touching a stove because the stove's too hot. Look, that's not how people learn. You need to go through the experience. You know how many billionaires went broke first, or how many CEOs went broke first? What you need to do is learn, and that comes through experience. And sometimes that experience burns. It's part of the lesson. Okay, next questions. Can I play your guitar? It's here. You'd have to come to Costa Rica if you happen to be in the area. Sure, why not? Short and sweet today? Yeah, just a quick little update. Feels good to rant. It does it not? Yeah, I'm a little ahead of you with the bunker. It might be true. The SEC uses hindsight in a world for foresight. I agree. Flute make price go up in jar. Yes, my friend, I could get the price to go straight up with the flute. I'm going to Bitcoin bull charm. Okay, let's see. Richard Hart is bringing a breath of fresh air to crypto. What's your views? I listened to one of the podcasts with Richard. He's definitely a smart guy. He's not a stupid person, that's for sure. Again, I don't know much about Hex. I just follow our basically our CFO and our tech team lead because they know more about technology. I just know about concepts. I'll invest in concepts. So I don't try to claim to know any of those things. But yeah, I mean, Richard definitely is a smart person, that's for sure. I liked some of the things he definitely had to say. And just as a warning, Richard, just because the SEC hasn't called you, they usually try to build like a rock solid case so that when they do want to arrest you, you barely see it coming. I've seen them do that to a bunch of people. You have no idea. You think you're getting away with it. All of a sudden they knock on your door or break it down. So just because they haven't called you doesn't mean they're not like your friend. Hey, what's up, Richard? Like, we're the SEC here. We just don't really like what you're doing. So if you could stop before we fuck with you, that would be great. No, they wait and then they fuck with you. They don't let you know they're coming. Just as a heads up. But yeah, I look, I have no distaste against Richard. I guess that's the end of that. That's the end of that sentiment. Off topic, still dreaming of Bali? No, I've made amends. We're building, my buddy's got this beautiful retreat center here. We've got like, it can fit up to 18 people. So we're going to start hosting ecstatic dances with yoga. So I'm just going to build what I wanted in Bali right here because I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying stuck in Costa Rica until we figure this out. Do you think Richard could be in some trouble? Oh no, I have no idea. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he mentioned that the SEC hadn't been like calling him up like they were buddies or something. Like they don't do that. I don't know. Again, my ability to understand the legal gray area, it goes to my general counsel to deferment, and we're just not go to jail. I guess that's the main kind of point of everything we're trying to do here, and have a good time along that path. Let's see. Perks of Costa Rica life. Yes. Hercules sentences taxes theft. Regulation is never good. Only helps big sharks. Yep, I agree. Regulation and government end up colluding, and you call it regulatory capture. Happens all the time. SEC has charged 75 projects. They haven't lost a case yet. Might lose that XRP one. No, they won't lose. You see, you don't understand how the criminal system works. They can charge you on something that doesn't even matter. And even if you're innocent, that doesn't matter. So I don't see how they would win. But I guess people still haven't understood that the government is not there to help you. They're not there to like enforce justice. No, they don't do that. They've been bought out and paid for probably the last 40 or 50 years. Like anyone that believes that the government is there for like, oh, we're here for your best interests is totally delusional. Let's see. Cool game plan. Nice. Bro, are you at a bomb shelter? Yes. This is a remade bomb shelter. So it was, it looked like someone started to build it, and then another family took it over and turned it into a house, because all this finishing is secondary. The rest of the concrete, there's like this weird shower, like from chemical exposure, it looks like, into the glass thing behind me. It's super funny. Okay, next thing. You and Da Vinci should do a show together. Oh yeah, okay, sounds great. Line us up. Daniel, if you're listening, the spirit god of Arcane Bear, can you try to book a show with Da Vinci? Moonshine Field says, I think he might expect some trouble. I'm talking about Richard Hart, I guess. So far, I'm not sure if he's looted his own project. I don't think he would be dumb enough to do that, because he seems like a smart guy. He may have been dumb enough to do silly shit like that when he was younger, because we all do dumb shit when we're young. It's like par for the fucking course. Can't hold anyone for the dumb shit that they did when they were younger. God damn, you know how much dumb I've done when I was younger? Even still. Let's see here. Let's see. How do you see the SEC case playing out? With Ripple, I have no idea. I just know that these are basically criminals. These are criminals that have had regulatory capture because there's billions and billions and billions of dollars at play for a very long time. Does that? Okay, yeah, sure, let's have a chat with Richard. It'll be fun. He's a smart guy. And it seems like he's becoming more amicable. I noticed that he gets like upset, frustrated, and then tries to shit talk people. It's like, dude, people are trying to learn. If you give them the space to, you can actually make progress with quite often. I think he gets upset too quickly or something. So, but he did seem to get over that in his last show I saw. Even when he was chatting with Omar, he seemed to be at least trying to practice more amicability. And again, there's a hard part about being intelligent is you realize that a lot of people don't understand what's going on, and that's kind of annoying. Like, what the hell do you mean you don't know about this? Like, what have you been wasting your time doing? So I understand, but let's see. Richard basically said all crypto is a Ponzi scheme. I think what he was trying to get across there is that all price is a Ponzi scheme. Like, why is a Basquiat painting worth $9 million? Well, there's, you could get into rarity and scarcity and supply and demand, like the kind of fundamentals, but other than that, value and price is a total hallucination. At that point, I would agree with him, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it a Ponzi scheme. I think he just spoke quickly there, because I don't think that actually goes down. Coin Doggy says, please don't chat with Richard. Look, I'm open to talking with everyone. One of the things I dislike, at least in our vocal form, if you say shit in the chat, we'll just block and delete you because we don't want it in the chat. And we know that spammers are trying to leave comments that screw with people all the time. But in terms of open discourse, like I think everybody should be able to have a conversation with one another. But yeah, that's it. So, and anyways, I don't know what I was trying to get across there. What is everyone most excited about in crypto today? Alex, that's who I'm most excited about. I'm excited about the people that are building here and creating such interesting things. Arcane Bear versus Richard Hart. I don't think it would be a versus thing. I definitely think that we have certain areas in common. Some of them are not in common, but probably make for an interesting conversation as long as we could maintain that amicable level of two intelligent people when they might disagree on something. Okay, next questions. Jeremy Hogan puts out videos about the XRP case on occasion, pretty interesting. Unless Jeremy Hogan is a lawyer, I really don't care what he thinks. Have a talk with that guy, Nuggets News. Okay, I saw that Alex has been going through some trouble too. At this point, Richard Hart looks like he's got a cleaner white shirt than Alex. I never saw that, wouldn't have never seen that coming. Sorry, Alex, don't mean to out you, but you tweeted me asking to borrow money too. And that's just, I don't know. Like, how did you raise $9 million and still shit up? Like, what are you talking about? Why don't people pay attention to on-chain metrics more? Well, we do, but they are not always indicative of price. Fundamentals and price don't go together. That's why. Because they're not a cohesive conversation. They don't fit. So that's why people often ignore them, I think. Well, let's... Oh, by the way, here's something fun. Let's go back to the Bitcoin share chart and go over a few things. Okay, Bitcoin's going up, but we wanted to talk about on-chain metrics. So there are a few on-chain, oh shit. Hopefully there wasn't any valuable information there. No, just penny signs. Okay, good. Jesus, kind of stupid things that look too similar. Okay, good, okay. This is the balance of Bitcoin on exchanges. One of the reasons why we don't look at on-chain metrics as much anymore either is because we're trying to build a product so we can stay the hell away from Glassnode. We think we can do better and provide more intricate, nuanced details for what we're interested in. That we're at a point where we're about to hit some extreme volatility. And it looks on a day-to-day basis more and more so that it's to the upside. So yay, that's super exciting. That's about all I need to know from the on-chain metrics. And we can see that again, both in price and volatility metrics. FEVR looking really good so far. We are up almost 14x on this play in, 20 days? So shout out to all the private bear members. 10x at this particular moment. So that's nice to see. We've made a few posts about this here. Approximately, 30 to 40% ago, I think, in this growth. We also made a call here in our private investment, a private mastermind group, because we're not an investment group. We're just a mastermind of people who like the same things. We are almost equally as much of a psychedelic mushroom group. or like outside group. The people that are in the mastermind are just as likely to go on a hike with me as they are to actually be investing in the same things. I don't know, kind of a funny thing that lines us up. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to rant for too long, and I'm kind of all over the place right now. So we'll go over just a few more questions. Just a few more thoughts and questions. What do you think of the price of BTC would be if institutions bought like the rest of us? They do buy like the rest of us. That's why the floor of Bitcoin has managed to stay at 30 grand. So they just buy every day small amounts of to try to chew up that open supply without driving the market up. That's how they do it. They buy at the low that they can to accumulate that open supply on the markets, and then they drive the price up. I would never use Market Cipher. Don't need to. Jay Beasy asks a fun question. Says, what about the money you took for the failed cause project and then bailed on it, kept everyone's money? No, we didn't. Everyone who invested signed documents that said, hey, look, there's a high chance of failure here. We did our due diligence with each of those people, and then the company that we were trying to build failed. That's how things happen in a business structure and keep anybody's money. So what you're doing there is actually called libel and slander. And if you'd like, I can introduce you to my attorney because we have a great legal counsel, manages his own hedge fund. And again, we've reached out to all of involved parties. So if you'd like to continue to draw yourself in a circle that actually bodes poorly for your legal stature, you can keep on doing that. But yeah, that's what happens if you try to build a business and you do it properly. You get the legal documents involved and you build something and it fails. This happens all the time in business, actually. And if for those people that don't think failure is a part of success, I suggest you do some more homework. It's like learning how to play with fire. Yeah, you might get burned once every now and then, but you got to keep showing up, keep building, and keep playing. Hey, Tio, if someone wanted to follow you, what would be the best platform? My guess there would be to go to arcanebear.com, and we just started our free newsletter. So sign up for our free newsletter. I think that would be a good way to go, because that way, no matter what happens, if for one day YouTube wants to kick me off because I swear too much, and the authorities who talk about what can and cannot be said wanted to kick me off or something, then that would be the best way to find us, I guess. So anyways, we'll leave it at that. Steve with the Arcane Bear. Thank you all for joining us today. Had a wonderful time. Always interesting in the crypto markets. Super good to see that everyone's doing well and enjoying this ride. I appreciate all your support, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.